Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nate Brothers. I have had a lot of people reach out to me in the last few days and just requesting that I do a bit of a basics video on what NFTs are, how it relates to cryptocurrency, some of the things you would need to know to want to invest in a project like mine. I totally understand those sentiments. I've been involved in the space in a couple years now, and it's moved so fast and things develop so quickly that sometimes you forget that people aren't in that same loop as you are, or my circle of friends, my community, my team is. So this video is definitely not for you if you have more of an advanced knowledge of the space and understand what it is to invest in NFTs. If you don't, then stick around. I'm gonna go over not only a few of the basics, but what got me into the space and what made me decide to start a Web3 company. So anyway, welcome back. I'm glad you're here, and we're gonna hit some basics. All right, so let's start off with what is an NFT. NFT stands for non-fungible token. It is a token, so therefore it can be used as a form of currency, but it isn't a liquid currency. It is something that needs to be purchased by another person specifically for it to exchange in value. So that means it's unique. The difference between that and normal cryptocurrency is the fact that cryptocurrency is fungible. Good old USD currency is fungible. $1 is a dollar, is a dollar, is a dollar. The only thing that changes is the serial number that's on them, but they can be spent for the same exact amount of money, have the same size, same look, same pretty much everything. And so that's what makes it fungible. Non-fungible simply means that it's unique. Typically it's tied to some type of intellectual property. That could be any type of digital good, whether it is a piece of music, a piece of art, a video. Some of my favorite NFTs are collectibles that are just based more like sports cards. Dapper Labs created an entire ecosystem around sports cards. There's a few other really great sports NFT collectible sites out there. Vivi is another type of more IP collectible based off of DC Comics and a lot of the Disney IPs. And so if you're into those kind of things, if you want to get your hands on some Batman NFTs, Vivi, V-E-V-E, is the app that you would want to download. And so there's a lot of different platforms out here that all deal with NFTs. But they all basically have the same sense, is that they are marketplaces. They connect you to the blockchain, and within that blockchain, there are smart contracts that hold entire collections. And so what you're doing when you purchase an NFT is you're interacting with that smart contract to purchase one piece of that collection, one non-fungible token, and then you have the ownership rights of that non-fungible token. You can turn around and sell it on any of these marketplaces. So OpenSea, Rarible, Looks Rare, these are all marketplaces that tap into the contract structure and allow you to see all of the collection, allow you to see the ownership of the collection, and you can therefore purchase from an owner. OpenSea allows you to make offers on NFTs that aren't for sale. It also allows you to immediately purchase an NFT, and then that would store in your own wallet, and then you would have the right to resell that NFT if you wanted to later. Now, this is the most basic form function of NFTs, the collectible concept of them. NFTs on a much larger scale relate to many different things that actually make me more excited about the space than just a collectible standpoint. NFTs, as a token, can be used as keys to get into events, to have access to people, to sports figures, to celebrities. One of my favorite projects, V Friends, is a brilliant man named Gary V, who's been really big in the space and also big in the collectible space for many years. He's got a great YouTube channel if you've never seen it. That's Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V is his YouTube personality, but basically he is offering an NFT collection that allows you access to him. And he's incredible in the entrepreneurship space. He's incredible in just the collectible space in itself, and the fact that if he mentions your product, it pretty much sells out. So it's of great value for up-and-coming entrepreneurs, up-and-coming brands to have access to people like Gary. And so what you can get is, if you buy one of his NFTs, it gives you FaceTime access, it gives you in-person access, it gives you access through his conference. And so NFTs are not just pieces of art, they're not just a song or a video, they're actually tokens that allow you access to very specific types of communities. Think of this as country clubs, and that you're buying membership into that country club. Another really unique point, and many projects include IP rights once you purchase into their project. So the biggest project in the world right now is called Bored Ape Yacht Club. If you look up BAYC, you're going to see these 10,000 apes that are unique non-fungible tokens all over the internet right now. They've been one of the biggest brands in the last 9 months since they've come out. Now, this brand is not just a cool picture. This brand actually is the ability to own the IP of that picture and use it for different cool business ideas. Currently, there's a Bored and Hungry fast food chain that just opened that has apes being basically the avatars for the company. Everyone from Eminem to Gwyneth Paltrow to many sports personalities, Odell Beckham Jr. would be a big one, have all purchased Bored Ape Yacht Club members, and you're starting to see them on the swag they wear. You're starting to see them on just everything. I mean, it's going to be the next huge IP that is going to infiltrate Hollywood, that's going to infiltrate every type of vinyl toy. You name it in the collectible sphere, Bored Ape Yacht Club is going to rule for many years to come. Now, how did Bored Ape Yacht Club come about? Well, they weren't even the first NFT project. That was another project called CryptoPunks, but this came out about, I guess it was probably in April of last year, maybe a little bit before that. But many of the people in my sphere were talking about them. You could buy in for $2,000 or $3,000 at that point. Prior to that, they were minting for, you know, around $200 or $300. And so the lowest price of a Bored Ape Yacht Club, I just looked, I think it's right around, it's 100 plus ETH right now. It goes up and down, but ETH is rolling for right around $3,400. So yeah, just to buy into the project, it's $340,000 now. I've heard opportunities that people are selling out the IP rights of their apes for entire years for about $100,000. So this is a bizarre space that has so many far-reaching abilities that it's really hard to even, at this point, understand just how big some of these projects are going to get. So that would be on the, you know, huge end of things, but this project's not even a year old, and it's already, you know, just rocket shipped like this as far as an ability to buy into something. And, you know, there are 20-year-old kids who are retiring because they bought Bored Apes. So I am not one of those people who bought a Bored Ape Yacht Club. I wish I would have, but I am somebody who believes in the space. I am somebody who believes in this ability to not only interact with these brands and these project owners and artists that come with these brands, but I believe we're very early, and I believe that many of these brands and many of the things that you purchase into are going to be, you know, some of the next Salvador Dali's, some of the next Van Goghs. It's going to affect the fine art market in a way that it's going to be prolific and impactful. You know, I expect many people will be getting checks from IP rights and things their whole lives if they buy into the right projects. So lots at stake. In just the day trading philosophy, there's a huge ecosphere of projects coming out all the time. People buy into these at a very low price points, which would be the minting cost from their site. That tends to be right around 0.08 Ethereum, up to about 0.3 Ethereum is kind of the scale right there. Our project sells at 0.1 Ethereum. Most of these projects have 10,000 tokens that are available in the collection. My project only has 1,000 tokens. Most of these tokens are created by generative means, which means that coding and layers created these projects. And so as they mint, they create new things. Actually, all of the tokens within my collection, they came from photographs. It all came from an actual tangible source of art, which is my father's art. And it's basically a historic collection over time. So it's a little bit different, but all of these things share the same concepts. You mint them from a site at the lowest price they're offered, and then they're resold as the collection gains in value over time. Now, how do you buy into projects that are going to have a good return? For me, I'm looking at several key things that all of these projects need to share. Number one is that they need to have original, iconic art to go with it. Number two, they simply need to have, teams you believe in. They need to be independent companies that have developers, have artists, have marketing, have really beautiful IP that's already been, laid out through their website, through the collection, through, all pieces of the communication of the project with the community that's purchasing it. And then the final thing, and the thing that I think is possibly the most important when you're looking at these projects, is what is their long-term value? And that long-term value often has to do with the intellectual property that they're creating, how they're going to spend the money at mint of what they're putting into the project, what they're ultimately going to produce through the means of this collection. And so for us, my father is writing the Animal Spirit Guide and Deck. This is an IP that we hope to sell all over the country. It's a beautiful set of cards that collaborates his entire collection that he's produced over the last 30 years with the NFT collection. So the concept is you buy into our project through the NFTs, we further create intellectual property that further makes the entire project worth more money, and that all rotates back into the concept that over time, because of the IP we're creating, because of the trajectory of our company, that the original tokens are worth more. So that's what I'm saying about long-term value. How do you decide if a project is worth purchasing? It's mostly about how they're communicating to you of what that long-term value looks like. What is the intellectual property that this project holds that you're buying literally a micro share into? So that's how I evaluate. It's difficult to understand why some projects do so well and why some projects are just such absolute shit shows. But I think if you stick to those core values of, excellent teams that are doxed. Doxed simply means that they're transparent. You know who, this team is, where they came from, what they do, what other projects they've done. They're not anonymous. Anonymous people tend to be connected more to fraudulent projects because simply they don't want to be known. And so having a doxed team, having a very firm roadmap of knowing where the project is going, and having some firmly developed intellectual property is what makes an NFT collection very valuable. And so when you look at our project, we have tried to lean into all of those values. We've tried to really create a vision for the next 3 to 5 years of how this thing is going to develop. And so when you're purchasing a token from the Medicine Skulls project, you're not only purchasing a individual, unique piece of art that you can resell, but you're also giving our team, our project, an opportunity to thrive, an ability to produce and publish the spirit guide and book that's coming out this summer, and ultimately just have that connection with Phillip, my father, who's the artist, and have a unique connection to a project. Get to see us grow over time. There's very few things that you can invest in for under $500 and actually see that come back, see the opportunity to be involved something from the ground up. This is why I love this space. It's so exciting. Like I said, it's like picking your favorite bands and hoping they just like explode on the scene. So that's where our project is, and it's at the beginning stages. Like I say, we are just now rolling out the IP. We're just now really starting to sell tokens, starting to make those connections with investors, and everyone who's going to be a part of this for the future. So thanks for joining us for the ride. Thanks for trusting me. Thanks for, listening to my content, listening to my spiel, and I truly hope that this explains a little bit about what NFTs are, and you have a little bit better grasp. If you do have further questions, like I say, continue to reach out to me through direct messages. I'll do my best to get back with everyone, but this is something I have obviously leaned into greatly in my own life and my company, and it's something I have a great passion for. I want to see this project be successful, not only for myself, but for my father and the rest of our team, and just very excited for the next coming days. Thanks for being with me today. Cheers. Yeah.